Hey guys, today I'm going to talk to you about how to attack and plan an essay question in an exam. The first step is to pick a question that suits your expert knowledge. So what you want to do is go through the questions list and put a question mark beside any questions that you kind of like, a cross beside the ones that you don't like, and a tick beside the ones that you do like. At the end, you can go back through and decide which question best suits your expert knowledge. Once you have decided on your question, you can then underline keywords in the question so you know exactly what it is you need to be writing about. So I've chosen the question to describe at least one important character who played an important role and why they played an important role in the text as a whole. So the keywords there are important character, important role, and why they were important to the text as a whole. So each of those words need to be underlined. Step 3 is to start planning my essay and thinking about how I'm going to attack that question. So, in terms of attacking the question, the character I'm going to write about is Salim. The role that he plays in the film is that he teaches the audience that it's possible to gain redemption for your sins. And the reason that he's important to the text as a whole is because throughout the film he gradually teaches the audience that exact lesson. Now it's time to start planning the essay. So, in paragraph 1, I'm going to talk about the first time that we see Salim showing us that it's possible to gain redemption for your sins, and this is when he sins for the first time and sells his brother's prized possession. So I've figured out my scene, and now I need to think about what film technique I'm going to talk about. In the film, there is a close-up of Salim's smiling face to show that he has no remorse. So I'm going to choose the close-up. For my quote, I'm going to choose the quote, "He offered a good price, so I sold it." And in terms of a personal response or beyond the text, I'm just going to say how I would absolutely never do something like that to one of my siblings. In paragraph 2, I'm going to talk about how Salim threatens his brother with a gun, which is clearly a huge betrayal and shows that he needs to gain redemption for that sin. So the technique that I'm going to use is a series of shots, low angle and high angle. The low angle shot is often used of Salim to make him look powerful and strong. The high angle shot is often used of Jamal in this scene because obviously he has a gun pointed at him, so he looks weak and vulnerable. The quote that I'm going to use is, "The man with the Colt 45 says shut up." And in terms of a beyond the text, this time it's a really nice beyond the text to use, which is a Bible reference of Cain and Abel, when one brother betrays another brother and actually murders his brother. This links to Slumdog Millionaire because here we have two brothers threatening the lives of their other brother. In my final paragraph, I'm going to talk about the redemption scene. So this is where Salim finally gains redemption for all the sins that he's committed throughout his life. The film technique that I'm going to use in this scene is lighting, because there's some really significant lighting in the scene where Salim steps out of the darkness and into the light, when he finally decides to put his brother and Latika's happiness before his own happiness. So he steps from the darkness into the light, showing that he is finally moving from being a bad person to a kind-hearted person. The quote that I'm going to use is, "And for all I'm done, I'm sorry, have a good life," which is what he says to Latika, to show that he knows this may be the last time that he sees her, but he is sacrificing himself for their happiness. In terms of my personal response or beyond the text link here, I'm simply going to celebrate and use some really happy, positive words to say how relieved I was and how proud I was of Salim for making such a big change in his life. Because in this final scene, he clearly has taken the audience on a journey throughout the text as a whole to teach us that it is indeed possible to gain redemption for your sins. I have now finished my plan for a Slumdog Millionaire essay, and I know that at any time throughout my essay writing, I can return back to my plan and know that right there I have got my quotes, my film techniques, any beyond the text or personal responses that I wanted to use, and I know that I won't get stuck or stumped during the writing of my exam.